Oh my god. I'm sorry. I promise I'm not like a Redditor or anything. It's a hat because it's a Frank Sinatra video. Frank Sinatra wears hats. You know what I mean. Yeah. What? No, that's a Frank Sinatra song. Fly Me to the Moon. It's a Frank Sinatra song. What do you mean? Okay, so this, apparently, is a video about a brand new movie that just came out called Fly Me to the Moon, starring Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson. All jokes aside, I saw this movie a few days ago and thought I'd give it a quick little YouTube review. Before we get into the review, though, I'm just gonna, take a few seconds to just talk about myself as an entertainer. That's what you gotta do. Talk about yourself, I guess. I recently got a bunch of new equipment, got some new lighting, new setup, so let me know what you guys think, if it's better production quality than before, if you liked before better. Let me know if there's anything you would improve, within reason. Not a lot I can do in this department, but I can make the background pretty. So yeah, let me know, and let's get into the review. So, starting off with the two main characters of this movie, Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. I came into this movie with a little bit of a bias.
Just a little bit.
I think Scarlett Johansson is a great actress. I'm a huge Marvel fan, so I really know her as Black Widow. I've seen her in a lot of movies, so Jojo Rabbit she was really good in. And so in this movie, I was expecting to like her performance, and I did. She was good in this movie. She is a very good character actress. This character was very much over the top, more so than some of her others, I would say. And she had really good chemistry with the other characters on screen. Channing Tatum, however, I'm not as big of a fan of in recent movies. He played Magic Mike, and once you play Magic Mike, your career, you can't ever really top it. You know what I mean? There's a joke somewhere here about moon, like fly me to the moon and mooning, like showing someone your butt crack. And he was Magic Mike, who's a stripper. Fly me to the moon, mooning. There's something there. I know there is. I just can't figure the joke out naturally. So I'll just leave you with that. No, it's the thought that counts, right, guys? Thought that counts. So there was thought put into that. I just couldn't figure it out. So yeah. Anyways, he was pretty good in this movie. I liked him a lot better than some of his most recent roles. I recently saw the movie, I think it's called The Lost City, with him and Sandra Bullock, and that was not good. It was not good. He was a lot better in this, I will say, but some of his scenes by himself kind of felt a little bit dry to me. There just wasn't a lot going on. He has a good emotional anchor in this movie, his character does, but he doesn't do enough with it. For me, his moments where his performance shines is when he's on screen with Scarlett Johansson. He has really good chemistry with her. Again, this being a rom-com, that's a very good quality to have. It's very important. In terms of the comedy part of this, it was kind of funny. I wasn't laughing out loud a lot. I maybe giggled or chuckled a few times, but that was really it. The people around me, however, seemed to enjoy it a lot better. There were more laughs in the theater than I would have given myself, but I think it's just because of the different demographic. I don't think I was necessarily the target audience for this movie. It being, set in the 60s, it's just not my type of comedy. I don't really get some of the nostalgia to it, I guess. But, that being said, I've been to other movies recently that have gotten a lot more laughs, so I wouldn't go to this movie expecting a huge laugh. If you get one, that's great, good for you. It just, for me, I didn't think this movie was that funny. In terms of plot and story structure, I thought this was very interesting. This movie follows two people. Channing Tatum's character, who is the leader and director of the Apollo 11 mission. He is in charge of making sure the rocket's ready, engineering the rocket, heading that department, getting things ready so they can land on the moon, right? And he's been doing this for a long time. He was the director on the Apollo 1 mission, which ended up leading to the deaths of astronauts on it. So that gives him a really a really good emotional backstory that leads a lot of his decisions. Scarlett Johansson's character is an ad exec. She's very good at tricking people and very good at selling things to people. She is hired by the government to sell the Apollo 11 mission to the American people. They're not the biggest support of it. They're more focused on Vietnam, and so her goal is to get the American public more in full support of NASA and the moon landing. Another part of this movie that is kind of highlighted more in the trailers, it isn't a huge part of the movie itself until like halfway through the movie. They actually build a set so they can fake the moon landing. And the goal of this is in case their project fails, they'll still have something to show the American public. Now, this sets up a really interesting plot device for me and brings us to the third act, which is, in my opinion, the highlight of this movie, as the Apollo 11 launches, which is a very cool scene. My favorite in the movie. It's done super well, and it is the reason this movie got a theatrical release. 100%. For those of you who don't know, this movie was produced by Apple. Apple does not have a lot of theatrical releases. They mostly are released on Apple TV. This is only one of 4 Apple movies that have gotten the theatrical release. And this third act is, I believe, the reason it got it and the reason it deserves a theatrical release. And it's because of these big set pieces and the way that they wrap everything up. It's much more cinematic, and it heightens the experience to be seen in a theater. The ending, I'm not going to spoil, but it was good. I thought it wrapped everything up well. Again, this third act was by far the highlight of this movie to me, and the first and second act in comparison just felt a little dull. It's not that things necessarily weren't happening, but they just weren't executed as well as they could have been. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 10. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't great. It's just kind of middle of the road for me. I'm not itching to see this movie again. I would if someone, strapped me to a chair and forced me to watch a movie. Like, if I wouldn't be complaining necessarily about seeing this, but I'm also not gonna. I don't know what this analogy is. I'm sorry. It was fine. It was a normal movie, middle of the road. It was. Was I the target audience of this movie? Probably not. So it makes sense that the people in the theater seem to enjoy it more than me. So keep that in mind if you're watching this review and you're deciding whether or not to see this movie. Go watch it and figure it out for yourself. I think that third act will be enough for you to not regret seeing it. That's all I have for this movie. Again, let me know what you think kind of about the new setup, if you like it, if you don't like it. What else you want to see me review? That's all I got for you guys today. I will talk to you later. Okay, editor, are you ready for this? You ready for this? Alright, put me in a rocket ship. I'm in a rocket ship. How cool is this? Okay, now make the rocket ship fly. Bye!